Okay. Alright, welcome in, y'all. See if I'm actually live here. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna see if I'm actually live on YouTube. Hopefully you are seeing my screen. If not, and I am not live. You are not seeing my screen for some reason. Give me 1 second. Hold on, y'all. Okay, let's see. Okay. Alright, now we're good. Alright, now we're good. And now let me go back. Okay. Okay. Alright, we're live now. Okay, so I just wanted to go over good morning, good afternoon, everyone. We're gonna go over basically the severe weather that's incoming. I think there's gonna be a severe weather outbreak next week with the incoming troughing coming in with this big with the big trough that's coming in next week. But I first want to start out with this with the GFS model. I want to start out with the pattern that we're going into here. This is called your 500 millibar heights. This is letting you know, like, hey, what are the jet streams looking like? What's gonna go on? So if I go forward here to the 10th of, if I go forward to the 10th, which is next Monday, you can see we have a elongated trough coming in, maybe like a zonal jet stream going into the northern half of the country. You've also got a dip in a jet stream a little low that has formed here across portions of the southeast here. So that low will start to eject off to the east here a little bit. So once that low moves away, you've got another low pressure that will start to come in. In that low, you see how that low by Wednesday, March 12th, you can see we may have a little bit of a severe weather problem here. I don't think it's going to be a big event, but what I can tell you is that we will deal with some sort of severe weather event on Wednesday and Thursday, and then our big event comes in on Friday. So let's go forward here. That Wednesday system now comes in on Thursday across the southern central United States. Also, our big system, big trough, that's coming in Friday and Saturday and Sunday. that trough is now starting to dig across the Baja California, well, off the west coast of California actually. You can see it a little bit there, but we're paying attention to this one as well. This one is really uncertain whether it brings severe weather or not, because it just depends if we get moisture transport to come up to the north to meet with this trough, and do we get thunderstorms and instability like the other models are showing. So let's go forward here. That trough does move out by Thursday afternoon. That trough moves out, and here comes the big gun. Here comes the big boy trough coming in across portions of the Baja California, dipping down. You've got a big low level trough coming in after that. Now, as we go into Friday, this is where critical thinking goes into play. This is where now we go into nowcasting situations by Friday. So you've got a negative tilted trough coming in. You've got a strong low. You have a strong low pressure that's coming in as well. That strong low pressure will actually break barometric pressure records here as this low really starts to intensify off the Colorado Rockies. Once, as you can see, the trough digs down, and now it starts to do a negative tilt there. That negative tilt will actually intensify the low level jet, and that low level jet that kicks in, your surface winds as they kick in will actually be strong enough for tornadoes. So we will have a significant tornado event with this as well. I think tornadoes could go all the way as far north as southern Wisconsin, southern Minnesota, maybe the whole state of Iowa. And on the backside of the system, we've got strong winds. The GFS model really has backed off on the winds with strong winds on the backside, but that front side low, the front side loaded of the system is going to be all winds. This is going to be an all wind event. Then as you go out forward, a low really starts to go to the north toward southern Canada here. You see where we're at 116 knots of that's not low level jet. This is your upper level winds. This is what's going on above the surface, and you can see still has a negative tilt to that. So even though we're at Saturday and we're not, we're not in the core of the severe weather, Saturday I think will be bigger than what Friday is, but Friday could be more significant as well. So even though Friday brings more tornadoes, I think the Saturday event will probably be more of a damaging wind event because it comes into a line of storms instead of all in the supercellular load like the Friday event will be. So that is your 500 millibars. This is just your winds. This is 850 millibars now. This is 800 millibars now. 850 millibars. So what you can see here, you can see the low level jet. We really don't have a strong low level jet coming in. So what you see here is that low level jet on Wednesday and Thursday, we do have a little bit of a strong low level jet on Wednesday and Thursday, but I don't think that's going to be a big event. Let me tell you why. Because there's some more, I'll show you why here in a little bit. With the moisture transport that's coming up to the north, you've got kinematics in place that will keep the significant tornado threat at bay on Wednesday and Thursday. And then that low level jet really starts to kick into California, into the San Francisco Bay Area. And then here comes the system Friday morning. Friday morning, you can see we have a low level jet, Central Oklahoma, 67 knots. You've got a low level jet here, south central and southeastern Nebraska, about 41 knots. So that low level jet will actually start to intensify later in the day on Friday. And then as we go into Friday early afternoon, you can see we have a large wind field of a low level jet here. You got low level jet going all the way up to about 50 to 50 knots across 45 to 51 knots across portions of southern and central Iowa there. You've also got some across Kansas and some across closer to that low pressure as it heads east of the low, Colorado low. So Now Arkansas in place. Yes, Arkansas will start to see that tornado threat go up early morning on Friday. Now, as that low strengthens, y'all, we've got a low level jet really starting to kick in here. That low level jet really starts to move its way to the northern east. Now that intensifies the low pressure even more, and that will start to increase that low level jet just a little bit more here. So now as we go to Saturday morning, I think will be a day we need to watch for that damaging wind event, because you can see as we go into Wisconsin, the whole state of Illinois, I say, uh, in parts of Indiana, maybe the whole state of Indiana as well, and then you've got parts of Tennessee, Alabama, and northern Mississippi, Arkansas. I think your event will be 2 rounds in Arkansas. Then we got Friday night, and then you've got Saturday morning and maybe even Saturday afternoon as well. And then it should all be out of here by Saturday afternoon across Arkansas. But your bigger your biggest threat for tornadoes, I think, will be probably east of the Mississippi on Saturday afternoon. Saturday evening, you've got a 68 low-level jet cross portions the four corners, and not the four corners, the quad states here across Kentucky, Missouri, Boot Hill, and all of those areas, northeast Arkansas as well. You've got a pretty good substantial low-level jet across southeastern Louisiana, also into Mississippi and western Alabama. So that low-level jet will start to kick in as that low moves away. Now the mid-Atlantic and the northeast really start to, parts of the southeast, I think will start to get into that. We'll possibly get into that action of severe weather on Sunday. And then I think this does move off to the northern east as this low does intensify a little bit more as it heads to the northeast, but it loses some of its kinematics and some of its power because that low has already wrapped itself around and it's come in instead of going out. It's come in a little bit. The winds are not as strong behind the low pressure with the low level jet, but they're still strong enough to bring a pretty good substantial wind event after this low pressure comes in. Now we're still 6 to 7 days out of this even happening, but I just wanted to give y'all a brief. Sorry if y'all hear me snuffing. I just got done with the flu, so a few days ago, so that's why y'all hear that. But back to what I was saying. That's why I think that severe weather will start to really kick in as we go into those days. Now, I want to go to the European. I want to go to the 12Z European on the 500 millibars, and let's match this up with the GFS, if it has an agreement or if it has a disagreement with the GFS model, with the 12Z GFS. So, here's Wednesday's system. You can see the European model. The GFS model has that low pressure, that trough that does come in, Piper, with the low pressure. No, ma'am. With the low pressure coming in on Wednesday, see it dips down a little bit more here. So the GFS was a lot further to the north with the dip of the jet stream on Wednesday with its first severe weather risk, and then it still continues that trough to go down south. So now that the GFS wants the severe weather a little further north, and now that 500 millibar wind speed on the European model, it's showing a bit to the further south. So what that does mean is that moisture has enough energy to go up to the north a little bit. So the GFS kept the moisture further to the Gulf Coast. Now the European wants it further to the north on Wednesday and Thursday. And now you can see there's your jet stream, your big trough that comes in on Friday and Saturday and Sunday according to the European model. Then that system, and then as that big boy loaded trough comes in, now that low pressure has fizzled out, and now our attention pays out to the West Coast and the Southwest in the four corners of the United States. And then as I go forward here, you see the GFS has a negative tilt. The European also has a negative tilt, maybe elongated trough, maybe a short wave coming into this low pressure, but I don't think that's going to do a lot to get in the way of this severe weather event. So, what about the low level jet here with the European model? Wednesday, there's Monday, not much going on Monday. Tuesday, not much going on either. Quiet day on Tuesday, I think. Maybe not for the Pacific and the West Coast of the United States. But as we head into Wednesday here, early morning Wednesday, I think where winds will start to kick in on the surface here. Also, and then the European really doesn't intensify that low level jet really much as the GFS does. So what that means to me is that this first system that comes in on Wednesday and Thursday, I think it's uncertainty right now. The Storm Prediction Center has been talking about the uncertainty on this Wednesday and Thursday, which is day 5 of severe weather outlooks for them. They have been talking about how uncertainty the models are right now with the mid-range guidance and the long-range guidance with the Wednesday storm. I think it's possible to get a slight risk of severe weather with this, but I want to see a little bit more agreement with the European and GFS, and then once we get the short-range guidance to come in on Wednesday and Thursday, like the NAM, the HRRR, and then high-res NAM, and the other CAM models, I think we will start to see a little bit more agreement on where and what risk are we going to be talking about Wednesday and Thursday. Now, also, I do want to show y'all the 500 millibar height anomalies here. This is just telling you like the average. So this is just telling you like all the low pressures, and like we got ridging going on across the northwest right now. This is right now. So that ridge will slightly go down to the south a little bit, head east a little bit. There's that low that's coming in, bringing some marginal severe across the southeastern United States in the Gulf Coast today and tomorrow. That low pressure will soon move off the coast of the southeast later on today. Later Tuesday. And then that Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday system is now coming into the Baja California. That also brings quiet weather for mostly Tuesday as this system moves off to the southwestern United States and we get samples of the atmosphere with the balloon releases. And we go back here at the European model. European model has a significant, it has a significant low level anomalies here. But what does and then it has it fizzling out a little bit as it hits southern Arizona. So that really gets to tell me like, hey, that Friday system is really going to be a big one, because I think that Friday system comes in on the heels of it, and I think it fizzles us out a little bit. So I think it cuts off some of its energy, so that way it doesn't produce a big event on Wednesday and Thursday. And then I also think that, once we have that big low pressure that comes in Friday and Saturday, I'm going to show you that on the anomalies here. You can see that big low. Look at that big dip in the low on the high anomalies here. See that big elongated trough coming in off of British Columbia down toward Seattle, and maybe even down toward southern central Arizona. And then you can see that low. Look at that low really starts to strengthen as it heads into the Colorado Rockies. And now as it goes east of the Colorado Rockies now that low really starts to intensify a little bit more, while the east is still pretty warm and waiting on the severe weather there. We have ridging going on in northeastern United States, and then that low pressure will start to intensify even more as it goes to the northern United States, and I will say that, and I will also say that ridge starts to intensify just a little bit more off the coast of Maine here. And then what happens after that is very uncertain. I'm not going to get into that as well, but I think we're having an active pattern coming in as we head to late March with more severe weather as well. We'll get into that as we get closer to that one. So now let's talk about the moisture here according to the European model. I think the European model might be handling this very well. You can see Monday, Tuesday, we don't have that much going on the moisture department here. You've got pretty good fall air, not fall air, but pretty good cold fronts that come through here, knocking some of these dew point temperatures down a little bit. Maybe Tuesday we could see a couple of showers and thunderstorms along the Texas Gulf Coast. But Wednesday, I think this is the European model solution of it. You've got a little bit moisture trying to fit its way into portions of Missouri, Indiana, Ohio, Illinois, and Kansas. And then you've got mid 50s dews, mid 50 dew points, and you've got some 60-degree dew points moving into the Red River area as well as the South Central Texas area as well. But now let's go forward here. This is about Thursday morning. You can see we have pretty good dew points, enough for severe weather with the 50s, but I don't think it's enough to bring us significant severe weather according to the European model. Southeast Texas, that's where you're closer to that warmer air, and you've got that dry line coming in. I think that's going to be your area where you could see most of the severe weather coming in on Thursday. And I think the atmosphere does restable itself. I think it re-energizes itself a little bit more, and then you go. According to the European model, it doesn't want to put that moisture further to the north a little bit. It wants to put it to East Arkansas, Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama, Tennessee, maybe in the Quad States areas, and then it has east after that. So basically what we just dealt with, but a stronger system though. Your lightning flash densities right here, it's just giving you an idea of what storms could partially look like here. You can see here by Wednesday, Thursday, you see where I'm talking about that severe weather event that could be a small severe weather event on into Arkansas, Oklahoma, and into northern Louisiana as well. And then they got that big system that comes in on Saturday and on Friday and Saturday. Now, the European is a lot later on the timing with this system. It wants to do it Saturday and Sunday. The later this thing slows down, the faster this thing speeds up, the more severe weather we don't have to deal with. But the slower it goes and the less timing we get on this system next Friday and Saturday, the more severe weather we may have to deal with. So that system moves out, and you can see like from Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, all the way down to Texas, we'll start to deal with this severe weather. And now you go east of the Mississippi from Michigan, from northern Michigan, all the way down to the Florida Gulf Coast. And then that system really starts to dig itself and really starts to intensify a little bit more as the system moves on. So what happens with this? A lot happens with it. So just wanted to give y'all a quick update on that. Oh, and I also want to show you how low this system's going to go. So now let's go and so now we go forward here. You can see we've got a 979 low pressure here. So this is what I'm talking about. This thing could be coming from 980 down to a 960, maybe even upper 950 low pressure. So that's what I'm telling you, that we're going to have to keep an eye on blizzard conditions on the backside of this low as the system wraps itself around and really starts to organize and go and really starts to weaken dramatically as it heads into California. Canada here into Manitoba and that area there. And 992 now, I see that low does disappear. Does disappear in a heartbeat. So, y'all have a great day. And I will catch y'all later for another live stream later.